On the issue of forgiveness and whether it was given us or not, I was thinking about when he was on the cross and it was near the end and the wrath of God seemed to be pouring out. The sky went dark, and I'll have to look it up. I don't know if this was after the earthquake and all that, but he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," or words to that effect. And I thought, well, I've always looked at that as a poetic thing, and even before I knew God, I looked at it as a tremendously pious thing. He was asking for something that they didn't deserve, and well, who would get something they don't deserve? You know, especially when I was in the world, I thought that way. But even after I became a Christian, I thought still, wow, what a wonderful kind act. He asked for forgiveness. He asked that they receive something they don't deserve, and well, anyway, let's figure out how we can get that forgiveness. Kind of like passing right by that. But the Son asked for something. And as far as I know, when you look in the scriptures, I believe that every single thing he ever asked for, he received, except that this cup should pass from him, the cup of the wrath of God that would be poured out on him. Because I think he knew the Father's will, because he was a representation of God's will. He was a representation of God's love manifest in the flesh. So why didn't he ask the other things? Why didn't he say, Lord, heal this leper? I ask you, nevertheless, your will be done. He didn't say that regarding anyone else. It was only regarding himself, because he knew the will. The will was that he would pay the price and that we would receive the benefit. So when he did things on our behalf, he didn't ask. He just did it because he was God in the flesh, obviously. And that gets all off on another subject about who he is and all that. I don't want to get off on that there, but he is one. He is just a representation of God. Can't reveal his fullness. He has to give us a view of him to us in bits and pieces as far as we can understand it. We've chosen to do things like create trinities and all these different things, but that was a representation of his love, right there in the Garden of Gethsemane. There needs to be punishment for this. There has to be punishment for this. Oh, I don't want to suffer for that. Nevertheless, your will be done. God says it must be punished. But he has so great love for us, he doesn't want to punish us for it. And here's this man that's like one of us. This man, like one of us, doesn't want to suffer for it. But he obeyed perfectly because he was God in the flesh. So he made a request, and it was refused him. So then he go back at the cross, and he said, "Forgive them." Well, yeah, of course. Of course he forgave us. It was requested, and it was done. He didn't say, "Nevertheless, thy will be done." He just said, "Forgive them." He just said, "Forgive them." Just like at the tomb of Lazarus, he said, "I know you always hear me, but for the benefit of those who can hear me." And then he said it, "Lazarus, come out." So the nugget, I guess, I come out of this is that's proof we're forgiven. He asked for it at the cross, and it was done for all time. Before any of us alive now were ever born, we were forgiven of every sin we would ever commit.